Hello, we're back again with part 5. Go ahead, Nymphadora.
So one of the other ones that's recent, Dee Dee had brought up about a client with the epilepsy. I'm actually going to be meeting with a client in a couple days where she's having issues with just wanting a breast enlargement, and it's nothing major. She just wants to be a little bit bigger. And so while I was preparing for her session, I actually got an image of a past life that she had where her breast was actually removed during a religious event. And this was like really shocking to me because I didn't see that coming, because like I said, all I'm doing is a breast enlargement. It's nothing major. She didn't feel like she was having any problems. And so when I had mentioned this to her, she said, oh my goodness, Nymphadora, this is insane because I actually have a problem with being touched, my breast being touched. And it just completely shocked me where once again, a past life is coming into this life and really affecting it. And it's even something as simple as she just doesn't like her breasts being touched because they hurt. And she didn't see that as a problem that needed to be fixed or something that needed to be dug into. And so these symptoms, I'm telling you, they are really important sometimes, and you need to make sure that you get them taken a look at, because it could get worse from this life to the next to the next. So I just wanted to make sure that you this isn't something that has to be affecting your life dramatically right now, that you want to get it taken care of, like, you know, having heart problems or something like that. That's something that you really need to take
go to the doctor if you have pain, of course, because you want to rule out, you know, you want to rule out
everything. Exactly. So, like I said, this was just a session I did, and the image just came to me out of nowhere. And when I contacted her about it, she says, oh my goodness, now it makes sense. So, you know, like Dee Dee said, we try so hard to help people and to really make them comfortable and to live a good life, you know, without having blockages and different issues that they're dealing with. So, you know, that was one of them. Another one we can do, you know, addictions. That's a really big thing right now. Drugs, alcohol, lots of addictions, addiction to money, gambling, things like that. And, you know, in past lives, we can just do alcoholism. You know, people could have, you know, started drinking alcohol because there was no clean water, and that's all that they could get available to them.
Well, that's a lot of times what it was. Like the farther back you go into history, it was an issue of
clean water, just not being available at all. And another thing is, if you have that kind of addiction now, it's multiple lives. Like, it will come up in every single life until you get it taken care of. And, you know, the same thing with gambling, the same thing with drugs. You know, it could be the same with any addiction that you might come across. And so, you know, that's one of the things, you know, the clean water was definitely one of the major ones that come up when it comes with the alcoholism. So another thing, you know, I'm Nymphadora, so we have to talk about something sexual, right? So impotence. Not being able to get an erection, have orgasms.
Erectile dysfunction,
That is a lot of people don't realize how common it really is. I mean, women especially, not being able to orgasm, and they just think, oh, it's the guy I'm with, that's why. And I've seen so many different past lives experiences that are affecting this problem in their life. So like with a guy, one of the guys that I seen, he was really having problems, and he says, I've tried so many different things and nothing seems to be working. So I went into his past life, and he ended up being a slave. And the poor guy, he was a eunuch, And
there's so many men that have that, though. It's always the same, isn't it? It's like anorexia. There's a few of them that they're always the same. There's never really any deviation. I know it is.
The sun keeps moving.
There's never any deviation from anorexia. Or erectile dysfunction, or a woman that can't have an orgasm. It's always the same. Like, the men have always been eunuchs.
Sex slaves, and just having, And why they're a eunuch can be different reasons. Some of them, they're just used for their sperm and to make babies, and, you know,
But then, after they did that, that's when they made them a eunuch, because they take their balls off.
Exactly.
And it's so traumatic, because this would happen all before the age of, what, 12?
It was young.
11?
Yeah.
12?
It was young.
It was like 12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know my history on that stuff, so yeah, I do think it was 12, or 11. I don't know. I gotta go back and look it up. But
it was young.
And then you also had royalty that would have these men guard their wives, and they wanted to make sure they couldn't get them pregnant. So
yeah,
that's always the same. But the reason they were a unit can always be different.
Right. And now with women, they could have been prostitutes in another life, and now because when they were prostitutes,
if it's from a past life, not
right,
a physical,
right. When they were prostitutes, they were having sex, and love wasn't involved in that. It was just for money, just for their job. It
was a job.
Exactly. And so now they're not able to connect because they don't have that love connection like they should have had. In a past life.
Or even just a pleasure connection.
Exactly. It
because
was
to them it was duty. I was like, I need to make money.
Exactly. Exactly. And they were doing multiple guys a day. So there was no pleasure, it wasn't fun.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Exactly. So now because
of that. So if you find
that
out, how do you go and fix that? Do you make them recognize it? Do you pull it out of the cell memory?
They definitely need to recognize this is what the problem is. Kind of like with your addictions, you need to address the addiction first.
Okay.
And so it's the same with all of them. We need to find out what the problem is.
Address it.
We need to address it. Make sure that they know this is really what's causing this, and they
then
need to understand that.
Your part, because where you are different than, say, a psychiatrist who can say, hey, this is your issue, let's address it.
Yes.
That's what they do. But they're not looking at the past life. You're like, okay, now I want to remove it from cell memory.
Exactly. And sometimes,
because that keeps affecting them.
Sometimes I have to completely erase that memory because it's so, like with the traumatic ones.
But you take it out of the cells.
I do. I have to erase it completely because if not, it will come up in a future life because it's such a traumatic event. So I literally have to go in and take it out and delete it completely. Some of them I don't have to delete it like from a memory kind of thing because it's not something that's going to keep recurring. So sometimes it's not that, intense, but sometimes it does get pretty bad. Yeah, definitely.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So tell me about another one.
So, let's see. We have anxiety. Anxiety is such a big thing as well.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Some people just don't understand. They go through counseling. Like, I don't understand why I am the way I am. Why am I so nervous? Why am I, always, anxious around people? Or, why is every stressful situation that comes into my life, like, it's overly unbearable? And so that could be many reasons. It could be, growing up you had a bad home life. Some kind of traumatic event that was really, really bad.
Now, with anxiety, you told me before, it's usually always more than one traumatic event.
For the anxiety, it's right. For anxiety, it's such a big thing that's recurring in your life. It's not just like, I get a headache, next week I might have a headache, next month I might have a headache. Anxiety is a everyday thing. Like, you are constantly living with that, and sometimes you have your explosions where, oh my goodness, and then other times it's not as bad. But for you to have that in your life every single day and be dealing with it every day, it's multiple traumatic events that's happened in your past lives. So it's definitely something much bigger.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the anxiety is a big one. That's one of the ones that takes hours because you have to make sure you're going back in every single life to find all these traumatic events that happen.
Wow.
That one is very intense. Yeah.
What are some of the other ones that you do that are like major with people? Like, I know you talked about heart attacks, knee injuries.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Yeah. Let me see. There was something else. Oh, that was another one. People don't realize like toothaches or something. Everybody has them. Sometimes it's just something simple.
I've never had one.
You've never had a toothache before?
I've never had a cavity even.
I've never had cavities. I've had a tooth pain once. And it was pretty intense because it ended up turning into a headache.
It's close to the nerves in the brain as well.
Exactly. So, but in all the cases that I've had with teeth, it's always had something to do with some kind of torture of some sort. Yeah.
Pulling them out?
Pulling them out. There was a girl, she was like 8 years old, and she was having such bad teeth problems. She would go to the dentist, and the dentist would say, there's nothing wrong with your teeth. You have great teeth. There's nothing wrong with them. But she had so much pain. And so I said to her mother, I can do a past life, check on her. It's going to be be a little intense. I said, but I have to do this because the dentist can't find anything. There's nothing that they can do for her. And so she really didn't want to go to the medicine side of it. She didn't want to put her daughter on any kind of medications. So when I went back, I found out that she was actually, we gotta take a break?
Yep, here we go. Here we go, we'll start over again. Doing, what are we on? Gonna be on 6?
I don't even know it anymore.
I think it's 6. Here we go.